What's poppin' people? It's your boy Zero, aka Black, Natsuki, Goat Baru. You already know. You already know. So we're, as you can tell by the title, this is the second part to the No Stella, No Life 2 or whatever. Now, again, you guys are probably just coming off of the second one. If you guys are watching these back to back, I'm not gonna deliberate. The last chapter was really freaking interesting because we learned that it's possible that the Witch of Greed, Echidna, created Al. Now, I'm not saying he's an artificial spirit, but he's something. Now, I don't know the implications of everything. Bro, like, there's so many notions of forbidden magic that can exist here, but I am not going to keep yapping. I'm bricked up, you're bricked up. Let's be bricked up together as we continue. $10,000. Here, let me just put that in the background. Make sure that, like, again, part of why I'm not streaming this live, my Wi-Fi has been acting really bad lately, so I gotta get that like fixed and situated. That's why I haven't been live. But anyway, I got the recordings. Having a taste of death by cutting for precisely the 10,000th time, Aldebaran raised his hands as they had agreed. Receiving that signal, the witch had seemed to be infinite. Wait. Excuse me. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Receiving that signal, that which had seemed to be infinite. No. That was just how it felt to the one on the receiving end. And since he had properly counted it up there, was no doubt about it being 10,000 times. But regardless, the torture that had gone on to that extent came to a close. That had been his expectation. Bula, wait! Hearing an incantation that should have been impossible, his voice that had begun to form the word wait would not continue. The unleashed wind blade mercilessly sliced through Aldebaran's throat, chest, and waist. Falling victim to the circular slash, his body spurted with blood and collapsed upon the meadow of verdant grass. In the moment before his decapitation, his decapitated head fell to the ground. He glared at the perpetrator of an act as if he was seeing something utterly unbelievable and unable to do anything about it. Death came to fruition. Yet that other party watched over Aldebaran, even bearing a faint smile. 10,001. This isn't what we discussed! The instant he returned, Aldebaran abandoned their agreement and raised his voice so. Seeing Aldebaran's fury, the person who had been holding her hands up in front of him, the beautiful witch, composed of just two colors of black and white, ceased movement. Then, tilting her head in a cunning manner, like she had completed all calculations. Judging by your reaction, this would mean that if you have finished your 10,001st attempt, and judging by your phrasing from the outset, you were never gonna end it on the 10,000th time, oi? Yes, I admit to your conjecture. But then again, from my perspective, I still have yet to enact murder on you even once. As expected. How deeply intriguing. Okay, so in this, Al's the... Okay, wait, I forgot how it goes. If Al's the perpetrator, they don't know that he's been dying. If he is the victim, he doesn't know that he's been dying. I remember that I think that's how it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, chat. But then again, if they're in the dreamscape, she can just see his memories. So she can just be like, oh yeah, like he got, oh man, fucking Dude, Echidna's a bitch, bro. What is your own horrid personality being verified after ending in just that attempt? In just the attempt? There is malice in your phrasing, but that is more or less correct. Closing a single eye, the witch lifted a finger to her lips as she responded, breathing a long, deep sigh at her attitude that showed no diffidence. Aldebaran somewhat soothed the beast within himself that was clamoring with ire. The witch had disregarded their prior agreement, and furthermore, it seems like she had intended on doing so from the start. But as for what the objective of that betrayal had been, he could fathom a guess. By way of my wind magic, you have excreted the experiment of death by cutting 10,000 times. No matter the phenomenon, if you experience it 10,000 times, in most cases, it will lose its flavor. Only, if those experiences went too far and you were simply just quelling on your heart, it would be troubling. Hence, you slice me up one more time than the agreed upon 10,000. By doing that, you would be able to tell whether or not I was able to truly get accustomed to death by cutting. Precisely. Thus, you proved my theory. Congratulations. This completes your hands-on education course of death by cutting. Although, there is still a long road ahead of us. Damn, I can't imagine how much time he spent with this chick, dude. Like the constant repeating, him knowing or him not knowing, well, he'd have to know how many times he's repeating. But like, so that it wouldn't be random for him to know that he's been looping this many times, even in the dreamscape necessarily, would it? Unless Echidna would be keeping count. Interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because, bro, him just going through fucking training arts by going into the tea party, then coming out and be like, oh, okay, I've been summoned again. Going back in, but like there's been barely any time moving on the outside. Like, yeah, interesting. And I wonder where he met her too. Or I mean, like, and like if she didn't make him, I wonder where they could have met, or like how. Dude, so many questions. When he realized that she was clapping her hands before her chest, his gaze traced upon and found her bewitching smile as she spoke. Regarding whether the witch felt like she had brought about a sense of accomplishment or not, given that she knew not how to show consideration for the hearts of others, it would have been difficult for regular people to gauge her heart. Thus, it was impossible for Aldebaran. Oh yeah? How faint-hearted. Even while spending such a long time with me in this space, you still think of yourself as a regular human? Rather than faint-hearted, it's a matter of natural distinction, you know, yeah? I don't have that sort of mentality to trust someone who's just escaping a journey of 10,000 deaths down the hell of a 10,001st time. You have a retort for everything. How wretched. Which one is it? As the witch shrugged her shoulders in a manner akin to saying, good grief. Aldebaran stuck out his tongue. But being able to behave in such a manner directly after tasting death by cutting 10,001 times, vexingly, was proof of the witch's proposition. That hands-on learning with death would bear dramatic results. For these 10,000 instances of death by cutting too, during the double digits, it continued without him being able to do a thing. During the triple digits, he was thinking of nothing but things to quell his own heart. Enough of a faint respite was yielded when he reached the quadruple digits, such that he could finally direct his focus to a method of maintaining his mind's balance. And now that he had reached 10,000 times, immediately after he had been decapitated, he maintained composure to the extent that he could clash words with the very person who decapitated him like this. Likely, there was a fear that this was not stability of the mind, but more accurately, the destruction of the mind. But the greed, if I'm not saying it's exactly that, right? Like, I'm not saying it's exactly that, but what if, to a degree, that echidna that formed a contract with Subaru in that verse was the same echidna that was trying to set up Aldebaran like this? And if so, then she probably got her wish. Because then, like, I mean, I don't know what the hell her goal is right now that she's out, but I mean, considering that we think of the Dreamscape echidna to be a different existence than the living echidna before she passed, they seemingly had different ideologies, or not ideologies, but like more so mental state, mindset. What would she want in the Dreamscape if she already had a student other than Roswell, being Al? But that's why Aldebaran doesn't like being called Aldebaran okay. Huh, yeah, dude. Oh man, I can't wait to reconsume this. So many thoughts and questions. If you guys are as locked in as I am, you guys having a good time, let me know in the comments. What are you guys thinking about this so far? Even supposing that were to be the case, is there a problem? Suddenly, the witch's words, which seemed like they had seen through his inner thoughts despite the fact that she did not understand the hearts of others, struck him. The witch narrowed her black eyes, bordered by her long eyelashes, and staring fixedly at Aldebaran. Even supposing the equilibrium of your... Oh, sorry. Where was I? Even supposing the equilibrium of your mind were to crumble, your ability to think and your willingness to adapt, that is to say, as long as you do not lose your sense of objective, then there is no doubt that you will complete the purpose of your existence. That is how I judge it. Do you possess a differing view? No, it's as you say, teacher. I was killed 10,000 times. For me to protect my heart like it's a shiny, freshly washed and polished jar would be impossible from the outset. In that case, even if I have to fill the cracks up with glue, it's fine as long as it's kept in a state that can hold water until the end. Damn. Partway through, disregarding the witch's displeased reaction at the way she had been referred to, Aldebaran looked down and clasped his palm shut tightly, affirming the other party's words. Then, opening his clenched hand, he faced towards the witch's face and... What's after death by cutting? Death by beating? Something like death by crushing? Indeed, I was thinking of going with death by burning. How about it? Just in case, can I hear your reasoning? Amidst numerous deaths, burning to death seems like it would be particularly grueling. Death by cutting has proven to us that this first-hand learning is effective. Thus, if we begin with the cause of death that are most frequently painful to work our way down, then that would make it so everything after that or after is no longer scary, correct? I don't know. Death by drowning Hook 2. Speaking in a detached manner, the witch answered as if it was a good idea, and on the tip of her lifted finger, a flame alighted. Oh God. Oh, bro. Just quick. The flickering flame might have appeared cute, but Aldebaran was aware that it would yield as a result far greater. And from here on, he would be made to experience it firsthand. Certainly, since they were looking to the future, preparing for all kinds of deaths in advance, death by burning was an assignment he would inevitably have to go through. But to propose they start off with the highest ranking, most painful manners of death, it was perhaps revenge for their exchange from just earlier. Damn. Do not tell me you think I am a woman who bears such grudges. Even if that were the case, it wouldn't be surprising or anything of the sort. What a way to put it. That wounded me. Even when she said that with a smile, it was not persuasive in the slightest. Scratching his head as the witch spoke, Aldebaran began to stretch where he stood. Focus, bro. Now, it's just crazy work to think he's just like, all right, you're about to set me on fire 10,001 times. Like, bro, it's, dude, the training, like, bro, like, when you go back and rewatch ReZero now, all the owl scenes are just going to hit different after reading Arc 9. And I'm not even fully caught up. Where am I? Stretched where he stood, focused thoughts, clear mind. Radio calisthenics did well to calm a wavering heart. That's something that Subaru does. And then, same signal as before. Don't betray me this time. I shall keep it as a goal to endeavor towards. Now, that's a statement I can't ignore. Expand territory. Matrix redefinition. After his dejection, Aldebaran accessed his authority, his own cognition enclosed around the world, intoxicating him with a sense of omnipotence as he bent the laws of reality to its will. In this moment, the world was divided into a multiplex hierarchy of layers within Aldebaran's hands. Goa. For the first time, he comprehended that the scorching flames engulfing his life would even burn away his death throes. Goa. During his hands-on learning with all sorts of death, Aldebaran pondered. The witch had by no means proposed such a hellish intensive training menu out of resentment towards Aldebaran. Deep down, this proposal must have truly been the witch's way of caring for Aldebaran. Huma. Having mastered all forms of magic in this world, the witch was nonetheless discontented, producing new forbidden arts, continuing to heighten her own self-studies and understanding of the research of others, and now quite literally executing tens of thousands of deaths. The utility of the witch, capable of actualizing the majority of manners of death published in the dictionary, could be described as most optimal for realizing this penance. No, this training that transcended the ordinary. Dona. Oh my god, I skipped forward. I saw G-Wall. Oh my god. Of course, amidst the unbearable pain and torment, many a time had he detested the witch. It was a shallow interpersonal relationship. In terms of Aldebaran's life, it was not as though he had made contact with very many people, but as for one towards whom he harbored this much of a variety of emotions, there existed none other save the witch. Rage and sorrow, hatred and resentment, fear and disgust, repulsion and fixation, even affection, all such were present. G-Waldo! I don't know what the fuck G-Wald is. It was a process that would repeat without end, an unsightly one, akin to that of fierce emotions, neither faint nor small, nor in their own, being left to stew, jumbled together with many other things in a boiling pot. To allow that to continue for so long, Aldebaran's sense of duty alone was by no means the only reason. To begin with, something like a sense of duty was not even that great of a motive within Aldebaran himself. The sense of objective he had been bequeathed, no matter how far he went, would always be nothing but borrowed ore. Minya! It was a fool's errand to venture out into the rapids with an unreliable boat or oar. Understanding that, for him to keep struggling onwards, though there was a possibility for Aldebaran to force his way past that unreasonability, neither his borrowed sense of duty nor those worn-out possibilities were definite motives. He did not wish to recognize it, but just as surely, he did not wish, or he did wish to be recognized. By the witch who since his birth, By the witch who since his birth, Aldebaran had spent the longest, most pronounced time with. Teacher, don't you ever get fed up? Do I get fed up? With what exactly? With what? I mean, like, all sorts of things. All sorts. Or you could even say with everything. Again, that is quite the broad question. Languidly sprawled out upon the verdant meadow above Aldebaran, the witch laughed. His limbs spread out without putting any tension in them. Aldebaran had learned firsthand what it meant for one's body and mind to be expended. Even though it was his own body, there were nothing but unknowns. No, that was slightly different from the correct expression. Even though he did know, there were nothing but unknowns. This was a more accurate way to put it. Was your question just now perhaps venting your own feelings? The witch, having sat herself down in a chair used for tea parties, suddenly peered at him as if having realized something. Unusual as it was, the witch seemed to be working through a circuit of consideration or comprehension of others. But that's only half right, half wrong. 50 points. However, there is nothing marked in red, so it is a matter of the points I am missing. An explanation? The half you got right is those are my feelings. But the full correct answer involves a notion of, why am I doing this sort of thing? So, I wanted to ask how it is for you, teacher. I see. So rather than getting fed up, it is more about feeling the lack of willpower. As she spoke, the witch crossed her legs, wrapped in a black skirt, and pondered. Watching over that strangely alluring gesture as she laid down, Aldebaran vocalized his impulse. If you just let me have a single lap pillow, my willingness might return. That's actually crazy that he asked her for a lap pillow. This is, bro, like, dude, it's fucking it's Subaru, bro. It's Subaru. Damn. What a terrifying request to make, You ought to be aware of just how frail my constitution I am, correct? I shall say this now, but even if you attempt to place your head in my lap, I am confident that I will not be able to stand up for an entire day, let alone several hours. So, they're making it seem like the dream echidna is super frail. Don't wear such a smug grin as you say that sort of thing. I was just asking. First of all, his exhaustion was nothing so trivial that doing that would relieve his willingness. To begin with, as far as he understood it, the witch had told Aldebaran that if she could support him through physical touch, she would help out no matter what it was. Damn, even the back shots? Okay. And unfortunately, Aldebaran desired no such things from the witch. Ergo, unexpectedly getting out of her chair, the witch crouched down beside Aldebaran and caressed his head. Speechless at the sudden occurrence, Aldebaran looked up at the witch with his eyes widened. The witch, upside down in his vision, tilted her head at the astonished gaze and, "Oh yeah? Did I get it wrong? Do you not desire me as a woman? However, if you still request something such as a lap pillow from me, then I had imagined that it would neither be consolation or gratitude that you desired, but..." Don't try to understand people's emotion through logic, you witch. Regrettably, since I was born as a witch, it does not seem like I will become anything other than a witch. So, does your lack of denial mean that I successfully understood your emotions through logic? As the witch questioned him with a slightly odious look on her face, Aldebaran's lips contorted as he fell silent. It was aggravating that no matter what he said, even silence itself would serve as an answer. But at the very least, he did not wish to affirm it. It, with his own words, wait, oh, bro, I thought there was a comma, what the hell? But at the very least, he did not wish to affirm it with his own words due to the feeling of defeat it would cause him. How obstinate are you? Without getting exasperated, the witch left a manner that failed. The witch left a mutter that failed to comprehend his emotions, but her hand ceased. Oh, bro, man, reading's weird right now. It's not because of this, because I'm actually just dumb. One sec, chat. All right, let's go. Without getting exasperated, the witch left a mutter that failed to comprehend his emotions, but her hand ceased not. It was unclear whether its motion was intended to be consolation or gratitude. Only what Aldebaran desired was neither of those things. And even if the witch who was giving it to him did not know that, it was fine as long as the recipient, Aldebaran, knew. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be a freaking degenerate. I'd be a degenerate. Nope. I do not ever get fed up with things. Huh? Your question from earlier. You asked me if I ever get fed up, correct? The witch's answer, lagging 2 steps behind, caused Aldebaran to blink his eyes. Ultimately, it had just been pillow talk, not something he particularly wanted to discuss in depth. That which would have been fine to forget in the exchange up to this point, he pondered the significance of the witch and answered it here. So then, shouldn't give up either? Albeit you are free to interpret it as you will. As a matter of fact, from my perception, you lifted your head just before I could lower my head. The reality is that I did not place my hand upon you, correct? Thus, there is no concern of me being troubled. Does that relieve you? The question voiced alongside a smile. Aldebaran found himself at a loss of words again. He did not want to think that he was no match for her, so let it be left as him being no match for her yet. After all, one day, Aldebaran would need to battle against something far greater, and he would need to win. Indeed, it happened when he became aware of the silent discomfort deep within his chest. There. Suddenly, his head was lifted from where it lay, and underneath it slipped a soft sensation, that which had visibly kneeled down on the verdant plain, placing Aldebaran's head atop her own lap. the lap pillow that had been rejected a moment prior because it would lead to something bad. Why had that suddenly? I was exaggerating. I am a nasty witch, you know. As the witch triumphed with a single closed eye, Aldebaran sighed and relaxed his shoulders. He would at least put his body weight onto his head and attempt to inflict the greatest extent of damage as he could on the witch's legs. By the witch who had killed him the most in this world, the amount of revenge ought to be forgiven. Okay. Just about 30 minutes. Ideal. Sweet. So, we are getting more understanding of their relationship, their dynamic. I find it so fascinating. As far as overall opinions, I think it's a nice follow-up to the first chapter. You know, we're still just learning, right? We're seeing how Al is experiencing being the understudy of Reed, and just how much of a witch she actually is. There's a lot to talk about, bro. Guys, drop you guys' opinions, thoughts about these individually, you know, like anything in the chapter that or section that I read, because there's like quite a lot to talk about, but I'm trying to be on a roll of giving you just enough of my inner thoughts, and then we transition to the next chapter read. Because if I sit here and yap as long as I want to yap, as I do in the reactions for the anime, these would be double the length. Each video would be double the length. Like, it would be one half of me reading it poorly and one half of me yapping about it. So I want you guys to drop in the comments how you guys feel about everything that goes on, and drop like what you feel, your thoughts, opinions, all that good shit, like, and or some explanations if you think that I was onto something or had like an idea of something and you wanted to expand on it. By all means, I'm gonna respond to basically every fucking comment. If we're talking about ReZero, I'm talking about ReZero. So this has been your boy Zero, aka Black Natsuki Subaru. You guys know what to do. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. Stay updated, so when I post ReZero content, videos, all that good shit, y'all are the first to see it. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Till next time, peace.